Here we have a 2014 registration Irizar i6 Integral 49-seat executive coach. So we are in Ulverston, the bottom end of the Lake District, at Fussell's Travel Service, looking at this very smart, nearly 11-year-old i6 Integral. Now, I'm not going to say there's not a mark on it, because there's one or two bits, but it's going in next week because it's half term to get sorted. So there's that little bit of scuffage on the mirror there. None of it's major, by the way. Main sort of bodywork is fine. It's just all little bits and bobs. Got a power operated centre continental door fitted, alloy wheels fitted. Back corners all good. Reverse camera also fitted. Then under the bonnet we have a Euro 5 DAF engine. Now, I'm not going to commit to whether it's an MX340 or a PR at the moment till I check, because of the gearbox, because it's driven through a ZF automated AS-tronic gearbox. So that says to me it should be a 340. However, it could still be a PR. So that's one to double check when we get our hands on some paperwork. Back down the near side. Again, that I think you probably get off with a bit of glue remover. And then there's a little bit on the wheel arch that again is being addressed next week. But other than that, she's all good. Power operated lockers. Fairly standard on any product book built out in Spain these days. Decent amount of luggage space. Got to remember we're on a 12.2 metre, so standard length chassis. But yeah, a decent amount of luggage space. Certainly more than there was on the first Centuries that came in the late 90s. Crikey. You could have got on the Krypton factor with that. You've got little cubbyhole there for driver's bits and pieces. And then, as we jump on board, the first thing we see is the safe under the driver's seat. And then while I think on, I'm going to point this out, because again, this is being replaced next week. This massive crack in the windscreen. So this is having a new screen fitted as well next week. Anyway, the canary's already died on this one, by the way. 49 reclining seats. They're fitted with three-point seat belts, leather piping and headrest inserts, finished in this very pleasant red. And I know you're going to say, usually you have a whinge about red, Daz. I like this, but I think it's because of this sort of weave material here just breaks it up from the maquette, if that makes sense. I've seen them exactly the same in blue, you know. Yeah, I do. I like this interior. That'll shock you, won't it? Seats are in great condition. There's also trace to the seat backs. The main reason the seats are in great condition is this vehicle's not had a hard life. Started life with KM Travel in Barnsley. And Keith proper looked after his coaches. Sadly, we lost Keith 2 or 3 years ago. Can't remember exactly when. He was one of the industry's characters, was Keith. I used to like going having a brew with Keith and putting the world to rights. But yeah, so he looked after vehicles. All he did, and they've still, the company's still going, and they've still got the travel shop, I think, in Barnsley. Just their own brochured tours and day excursions. So it's never really worked too hard. And here at Fussell's, the majority of their work is educational tours. So it's not like school contract type work, if that makes sense. So that explains the good interior condition. We've got doors to the hat racks fitted, just tidies things up a bit. Carpet to the aisle. We've got a centre sunken toilet unit with hot drinks facility. We're also wired for DVD with 2 fixed monitors. Fully air conditioned, that'll be HISPA cold air conditioning, being an Irizar, which usually means get on it in the summer, it's like walking into a fridge freezer. I've always been impressed with Irizar air conditioning over anything else. Once worked with a lad called Dave Rowe, and he made me laugh once because The first air-conditioned vehicle I ever took regularly into Europe was a 1998 Scania Century. And he was like me running mate when we were doing consort travel. Always looked smart, did Dave, and I'll tell you what a driver. Where he couldn't get a bus, he'd get one, he'd put one on your roof, honestly. He was an amazing driver. But he liked to make a shirt last. And he said to me one day, I'll never forget it, we were going down the side of Lake Maggiore in Italy, and he said to me, alright, these Aircon motors, aren't they? Because we were used to like B&M Van Hulls that had been sat in Venice for 6 hours, like walking into like an industrial oven. Alright, these Aircon motors, aren't they, Daz? And I went, they are, why? He says, I can make a shirt last 4 days. And I'm like, okay. And he never had plain white shirts. He always had a coloured shirt, or something with a pinstriping so the collars didn't look as black. But listen, top guy, top driver. But yeah, could make a shirt last 4 days. And that was down to his for cold air conditioning, by the way. I knew I was tying it in somehow. Anyway, standard Irizar dash. We've all seen them. Most of the controls are to the right. Great for the driver the way they're laid out. Mileage. This has done nothing, by the way. It's done just over 350,000 kilometres from new. 11 years old next birthday. That is low. Fridge in the dashboard. Courier seat finishes the job. So, and I forgot to mention, that Euro 5 DAF engine is compliant in all the clean air zones. You won't go into London for now, but you'll go into Bristol, you'll go into Birmingham, you'll go into Newcastle, you'll go into all the other places, Sheffield. They've got clean air zones and it will cost you absolutely nought. So, to recap, it's a 2014 on a 14 registration Irizar i6 Integral 49 seat executive coach.